Hello Gypsters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today is just a catch up on this Primaries Lieutenant Space Marine from Ultramarines. I believe that's what I've got right. Again, thank you to everybody who pointed me in the right direction of, do I get this right, the titling plate. I think I've got that right. Don't snigger at the back, I can hear you. And help me out with other bits and pieces like the red skull on the front there. I've got to do a bit of work on that yet. In fact, it's all a bit of a work in progress. As I said to you guys, I really don't know anything on this type of paint jobs. You know, I really mainly paint historicals, so this is really just a bit of practice. There are some of the blues that are slightly out, like this shoulder plate that I'm doing is probably, don't worry about the gauntlet type thing, that's going to be hidden by the shield, but it might be slightly out and I need to smooth it a bit. But I'm debating, I might have some, I swear I bought a sheet of decals when I bought this. So I might decal that or freehand it, I'm not sure yet, but I've tried to do a lighter colour of the non-metallic metal. I'm going to try and smooth it out. The problem is with me, I tend to lose them when I start smoothing them out. I'm not very good. I'm going to have to look at some tutorials. I'm even thinking of doing one of those Patreon things. Not, I don't mean me, as in I'm thinking of doing that Flame-On's Patreon. I've never done it, and as I say, money isn't exactly flowing, but I would really like to learn. As I say, I'm always going to be a historical fella. You know, I love my military subjects, post and present. You know, most subjects, military history, modern conflict, whatever. But it's funny, I get drawn more to like the fantasy when I'm looking at the people's work. I prefer fantasy, and this, you know, even this type of, although it's military obviously to a degree, it's still, you know, different to what I normally paint. And I will paint some Age of Sigmar, I think, as well. I've got my eye on a couple of the larger pieces that aren't, I go by money. Unfortunately, I won't be buying any £70–80 pieces, but I can afford like £20–23 pieces. And they do some larger ones in the Age of Sigmar fantasy range, so I might have a go at one of those. But yeah, he is what he is. It's the light might be making him look a bit more powdery and whatever than he actually is. I've still got a way to go on the armour. I'm just keep playing around with it. I've decided to put the non-metallic in, at least on the most basic form, just to get an idea of what the blue was looking like more than anything. That's why I put the black in as well, and I've highlighted it with turquoise ink. Where are we? So I have to look through viewfinder here. But I'm going to try and bring it. It's not going to be ultra shiny because I've done some texturing work underneath, but I wanted it to a level that he wasn't gungy, if that makes sense, and I want to put some scratches on and things like that. But at the moment, this is what he looks like. I think Julian asked me, how do I do the shadow areas and things like that. As I say, Julian, I don't use. I use glazes and paint washes at different times, but I don't use the, you know, like the army painter stuff or anything like that. Well, I can do, but it's not normally how. I don't use it for shadowing work, if that makes sense. Sometimes I might put it in like in fur areas in the deepest recesses. I mean, who am I to talk as if I do this stuff all the time? But that's what I use it for. But like the darker areas, I normally put a shadow area in, because I haven't. This has been done in like a grey with a white sprayed over the top. I would put rather than the black. If I'd got a black primer down already, I'd leave that in the very deepest corners to begin with. But in this case, I'd put the darkest colour I want to use. So I'm trying to find where are we? There. I'd use the darkest colour and push it into the recesses. Then I find the raised areas that I put my highlights in. So I'll put a highlight straight away in the highest points wherever I want that point to be. Then I put a mid-tone in to more or less join up the dots, but that'll take a bit of work to do. And then I'll just keep building the highlights up and adding the darker tones into the very deepest recesses. So a lot of it's still patchy because I'm just going around it as I get fresh ideas. And as I say, the blue unfortunately isn't exactly the same all the way around. It's not far off, but and I will keep trying to match it in. But the problem I've had is, because I've just been trying to see what different blues looked as I built them up, they're not exactly the same, which isn't very good. But it's been good enough for me to learn, what I wanted to. What type of blues I would like reserved for this type of work. As I say, I've gone for a more whitey, yellowy look to this because I thought, the yellow and blue normally, so I thought a slightly non-metallic look that way. I will try and smooth the metallics out. I've tried it before in the past, and then I go over the top and I end up losing all the contrast. So this is why I really need to bite the bullet and do like a Patreon thing where I can watch people's videos and know what they're talking about. But yeah, that's as far as we've got. I will put some blue shadows and some other shadows onto the figure as well, where unlike this holster, once I've done the cloth hanging down, I'll put some. You can see where it's already cast under the light. I'd use that idea to roughly put shadow areas in on the figure, and maybe some bluer tones into the reflections onto the non-metallic as well. So that's it. As I say, this was the first bit I did as a test, really, and that is fairly patchy, and that probably could do with tidying up and brightening up or whatever. Again, it's all new to me, really. I'm not say all the years and years I do occasionally have little forays, and because I don't spend the time enough to practice it, I don't really get any better, which is why I really would like to spend more time doing this type of work on the sidelines of what I normally paint, to improve. I mean, there's about 32 hours in that so far, and you wouldn't think it. Not that I have a clock running on the desk, but I've just worked it out, So thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. I hope everything goes well with you. Thanks for your kind support, and as I say, answering those questions, because I really have no idea. It's a bit out my comfort zone, all the lore and the fluff type stuff of 40k, Age of Sigmar, or all the other type gaming things. I'll only ever be a painter in it, but a lot, you need to know the context of what you're painting. I mean, yeah, you could just paint them any old colour, and a lot of the guys said it's your figure, Gav, do what you want with it. But I like to get an idea of what he's doing, and even though he's on this, well, I'll take him off this base and build a bit of a base on top of it when the time comes. But because I don't believe I glued him down. If I have glued him down, I'm stuffed. but I don't think I did. I think I just clicked him in, pushed him in to paint on. So thank you very much. Look after yourselves, and we'll catch each other very soon on another video.